Good morning and welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Bob.
We're awesome.
We are.
And we're so glad you're here at Facebook Live. Actually, if you guys want to take a few minutes and let us know where you're tuning in from, if you're watching, we would love to hear that. We might even call your name out. It's crazy. Today's show is going to be awesome. We're going to talk about pre-cuts. And what are pre-cuts, Bob?
Well, these are numbers or letters that have been pre-cut.
Pre-cut, cut in advance. Awesome.
Loose numbers and letters, not
Right.
to be confused with something we cut for you and on a carrier.
So extremely simple definition, but lots of value that pre-cuts can add to your business if you're not using them already, and maybe you'll learn a few new ways to use them or new materials that are available to you in the Stahls pre-cut lineup if you haven't used them in the past. So we start every Stahls TV morning show a little rough, really, to be honest with you. But we also start with the look of the week. So this week's look of the week was submitted by Laura Pellman. Bob, I'll let you talk about it.
Well, it says right there on the label that it's sublimated glitter flake. It's a cool design for over the holidays. Obviously, now don't know whether or not Laura did this herself or whether she just simply sent the artwork into us through the CAD prints program and developed that for her. But it is glitter, and glitter just sells.
So if Laura was doing it herself, what materials or equipment would be required to pull this look off?
Well, she would need for the glitter, she would need the white glitter flake so that the colors were true, and she would need sublimation. She would need a sublimation printer with sublimation inks and a heat press and all the cover sheets and all those things that go with that. And then somehow figure out how to register that and cut around the outside. So I'm thinking she may have utilized our services on this one.
Okay, so there's actually now with our new product, there's 3 ways to achieve full color glitter. You can print it yourself using sublimation. You can print it yourself using our rainbow white glitter flake material that's printable on a solvent or eco-solvent printer, or you can send your artwork into Stahls and we can print it for you. Either one of those ways works, right? But great, appreciate the look of the week from Laura. If you would like to submit to the look of the week, you can do that 2 ways. You can submit to Stahls Show and Tell, which happens every Saturday here on our Facebook page, or you can tag us on Instagram at Stahls Heat Printing if you would like to be featured for the look of the week. You don't necessarily win anything, but we'll call your name out. It's fun, right? So before we do announcements, let's take a look at who is tuning in. So we have Ottawa, Canada. We have Sterling Heights, Michigan, which is where our headquarters is from. I wonder if that's us.
Sneaky.
It's not us because we're in southwestern Pennsylvania. We have Wilmington, North Carolina. We actually have Laura talking to us here. Yep, I did it myself. Thanks for the shout out. Great. Appreciate that,
Rock
Laura.
on.
That is an awesome look. Hopefully whoever wore those shirts loved them. All right, so a few announcements before we get into our discussion today about pre-cuts. First, we have our Workshop Wednesdays continuing in the month of July. That's coming up on July 18th. The Workshop Wednesday is going to be the complete guide to heat printing team uniforms. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, heat printing team uniforms using pre-cuts. But one exciting announcement with the Workshop Wednesdays is we've added a location. And where is that?
I believe it's Mentor, Ohio.
Mentor, Ohio.
Home of Transfer Express.
All right, so you can come visit us at Workshop Wednesday in California, Arizona, Texas, Michigan, Florida, and now Mentor, Ohio. Apparently new locations being added all the time. It's really exciting. What can somebody expect if they register for a Workshop Wednesday?
Whole lot of fun, whole lot of hands-on, whole lot of information, especially this heat printing team uniforms is it's I would say seasonal, but it's timely because we're getting ready to jump into the fall sports. School starts in like a month.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, but it's a good time to ramp up, gear up for that, hone your skills, maybe even develop some or learn some new things. But when you come out from this one, you're going to know everything there is to know, not about the shrimping business, but about the heat printing uniforms.
Okay. If you can't make it to any of those Workshop Wednesdays, but you still want to connect with the Stahls team in person, we have 2 trade shows coming up. One is in Chicago.
ASI Chicago, 25th and 26th of this month, actually coming right up on us. And then also NNEP Nashville is in August 17th and 18th. So 2 good shows, good chance to come and say hey.
If you're going to Nashville, if I may make a recommendation, if you can read my coffee mug, it actually says Nashville on it there. Oh, and then I'm going to show you the dirty side of my coffee, the dirtier side of my coffee mug. Crema
That's
Coffee
disgusting.
Shop, got to check it out.
Get the Cuban.
If you like, get the Cuban at Crema in Nashville.
And if you
Might be the most important thing we talk about here today.
unless
Not really,
you talk
but-
about the pizza from the sauna.
Okay.
All right.
So we encourage you to come meet us. We do have I believe we have our full trade show schedule published online at Stahls.com. If you want to come out and get your hands on the new products, trade show is the place to do it. All right, let's talk about pre-cuts.
Pre-cuts.
Things cut in advance. All right. So why, or historically, pre-cuts have been offered by Stahls for probably the past 30 years, maybe 40 years, maybe longer really, with wool and where Stahls started out. But what are pre-cuts primarily used for?
It's almost, I don't say entirely, but the biggest market for pre-cuts is going to be for team uniforms. It just makes the most sense, especially for the on-field type of things. When you've got a lot of uniforms to do, if you're doing a league, one way or the other, these are going to be the most cost savings for you to produce using the die cuts or the pre-cuts.
Okay, so pre-cuts come to you pretty much two different ways. You can buy, which we'll show you online here in a little bit. We're going to walk you through some of the fonts that are available in pre-cuts as well as the materials. But you can order in packs or you can order in kits. And basically, that's where the cost efficiency or the cost effectiveness really comes in, is you're buying in bulk, all the work is done for you. It comes, most of the materials, actually I don't want to say that. The most popular material, thermofilm, comes without a carrier on it. So all you have to do is lay it out, pick it up, and press it, and we'll do some layout work with you.
Yep.
But not only is it the least expensive cost of goods to order pre-cuts, but it's also pretty quick in production when you're doing numbers primarily, right?
Yeah, the numbers for sure. You can get through those very easily. We're going to do a demonstration of it a little bit later. It's not a big deal to lay out two numbers, get them spaced properly, and keep them nice and even. The letters, maybe not as much, and we got some tricks that can help with that as far as the layout can help you out there too. But there's a sweet spot as far as what's the most, I say, efficient. Yeah, the cheapest way to go, if you're just talking about material alone, it's going to be nothing but pre-cuts. When it comes to the lettering, there could be a little more time than what you would like and a little risk of making threes out of E's and getting things a little bit crooked. So that case, we kind of like a pre-space player name for most people.
Okay, that makes sense.
At least for me.
All right. So pre-cuts are available from Stahls. We know thermofilm is historically one of the materials that is used the most because it's the most popular material for team uniforms that there is. It's also available in materials like fashion film, Premium Plus, which is what we have here today that we're going to work with on our layouts. It's available in some specialty finishes, the glitter flakes, the flocks. We'll talk a little bit more about SimStitch in a little bit. Reflectives, silicone dye block, hologram. Basically, if there's a look that you want to achieve, you can pretty much achieve it with pre-cuts through Stahls in the most cost-effective way. All right, so what we want to do is, one of the challenges with pre-cuts is being able to lay out the letters. So people tend to avoid letters. Like if you got a bunch of these letters in to your shop, what would you do with them? Well, the pre-cuts are delivered to your shop in a box with separators. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Because I know you've used them when you ran production at the Stahls Fulfillment Center.
Yeah, without these wonderful categorized or compartmentalized pizza boxes, you'd drive yourself crazy. You'd have basically that junk drawer that you have in your kitchen on the far right-hand side that everybody has.
Has the batteries and the
all
paper
that stuff
clips
in it. And the weird things, you don't know what they are. Right. And nobody knows how the batteries work anyway.
It's true.
But you would have all this mishmash of different colors and sizes and all that. So nice thing is you can label right on the front edge of these boxes what it is. These are 6-inch Pro Block white numbers, and in there are the different numbers kept separately. And now you keep them that way. It's a good thing too. Now if you start mixing them up, shame on you. But it's a nice way to keep track of it. So a lot of people are concerned that I'll have just letters and numbers everywhere. So it does help keep that under control for you, knowing what you have. It helps you with your inventory too when it's time. Because a lot of people will, a lot of shops, a lot of sports shops will really only keep black and white in their shop. If they're doing the lower cost leagues, the recreational leagues, those things where people are looking for a bargain, they'll say, look, if it's a dark shirt, you're going to get a white number or letter. And if it's a white shirt or light shirt, you're going to get a dark, you'll get a black. So white and black is pretty much all they'll offer. I'm not saying that's the case across the board, but it's a quick and easy way to get through the craziness of Little League season and fall sports.
So not only does it really offer your shop a cost savings, but it allows you to hit some of the markets that you might not normally be able to hit with some special effect finishes or adding a lot of expense with doing all the work yourself, basically.
A lot of us, and I've been guilty of it too, being such a control freak, is I feel like I can do this, I have a cutter, why not? Why would I buy your pre-cuts when I can cut these myself? Well, there's a lot of things going on there. A lot of it is the cost itself, the cost of the number, the material. It's actually the same price or cheaper for the material for that particular number than just buying the roll goods to start with. And then you've got the cutting, and you've got the weeding, and all those different things that go into that. So the other issue could be, I just don't have the capacity. I don't have time for all that. So buying these pre-done is not a bad way to go.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about artwork layout and all that type of stuff in whatever software you're using. Team name and number layout is probably one of the most time-consuming things because each player name and player number is a different art file. So those of you familiar with setting up art files, you know that can be difficult.
Sure.
Stahls does have some solutions to help you with that, specifically with CADWorks Live, the Easy Team software, but it's still time. Still time away from the heat press, which is where you're making money. So one of the things we want to show you, because we talked about storage being a challenge, and we've kind of solved that with the way pre-cuts are packaged. One of the other challenges is layout. So we're going to head over to the heat press and show you how to use the Stahls layout tool for letters. All right. It'll just take me a second to get there.
We do want to point out it doesn't have to be on a heat press. It's just happens to be where our camera angle is the best.
Yes, and it's a flat surface. So if you wanted to put this permanently on a flat surface, the Stahls layout guide, it actually has an adhesive backing on it. So this is a sticky backing that you can put down on any table pretty much semi-permanently. You would be able to get it off.
It's repositionable, yeah.
So repositionable, but if you wanted to put it down on a table to where it's not moving around on you or your operator, you can do that. So we have chosen probably one of the most, is it the most common name in the United States?
I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. Maybe Johnson or Jones might be there, Miller, but it's up in the top
For
5.
today's purposes, we're going to say that Smith
It is.
is.
What I meant to say is yes, it is.
Yes. So the Stahls layout guide gives you the ability to lay out in a number of different ways. We have the straight line across the bottom if you just wanted to lay out in a straight line. We have a 10-degree angle and a 15-degree angle if you wanted to do slanted word marks, basically. If you wanted to do a split front or a word mark on the front, you can do that here as well. And then we have a number of different arch options, each indicated by a different color line, all on a different radius of a circle. All right, so if we're laying out our letters, again, this particular material that we're using today is Premium Plus pre-cuts. We would choose the color of the arch that we want to use. Today I'm going to choose blue. And basically we just start by laying the bottom of each letter on that color line. And obviously we want to stay consistent. We don't want our letter going on the blue and then the green, unless you have a desired effect that you're going for.
That's just weird.
You'll notice that I'm starting, to me it's the far right, to you it would be the far left of the radius. And as Bob pointed out to me earlier in our rehearsal, that actually doesn't matter because the radius would complete a circle all the way around and give us a complete diameter. So whether you start on the right or the left, you're going to get the same arch. You don't necessarily have to start in the middle of the layout guide. So we're placing our letters on the blue line. And Bob, we talked earlier about what it means to determine the spacing between our letters on a given font. And I'll give Facebook a second to chime in. Does anybody know what it's called to determine the spacing between letters in a particular font? We'll wait a few seconds, see if we get any responses on that while I lay this out. It's a technical term. We'll teach you something today. Anybody chiming in, Bob, on that? Not yet. We do have some folks here from Sierra Leone. We also have somebody in from Kansas. Does anybody know what it is called to space out your letters in a font? I'm going to go with no. Bob, what is it called to space out your letters in a font?
Why, Zach, it's called kerning.
Kerning. K-E-R-N-I-N-G, the science of spacing letters in a font. All right, so we have our arch, the blue arch, done. This piece of mask comes with your Stahls layout guide. You actually get a pack of the pre-cut mask with the Stahls layout guide. we're going to remove it from the backing sheet. I'm going to hang on to that for a second because I'll probably put it back down on there. And I'm going to lay down my mask on the letters from the middle out and give a little press down and pick those up. I am going to put this back down on the mask, and then when we're ready to decorate our shirt, we can take it over to the shirt and apply. So that is how you use the Stahls layout guide.
Well played.
I try.
I would point out that the mask is actually reusable a number of times. It stays tacky after, especially something as non-porous as the film there. So you'll be able to reuse it over and over. So don't think you have to keep buying and buying and buying all these strips.
Okay. All right. So if pre-cut seems to be a good option for you, and I would actually say that it is, and somebody did chime in with kerning, I think. A couple people did before we.
I said it first.
Before we got there. No, I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so. So appreciate that, both David and Gina, for knowing that it was kerning. You win a prize. We'll tell you what it is later.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If any of our viewers are convinced that pre-cuts is the way to go for them, can we go to the website and show them exactly how to find them on Stahls.com and talk about some of the different options that are available?
Sure. So we're going to start at the very top, just like you can see our main title bar over here lists all the different categories. We're going to go to letters and numbers, and we just pick out pre-cut. A lot of different options within there, but pre-cut is what we're looking for here. Pretty short click. There we go.
Already on.
Yeah, it refreshed. Okay. So the very first thing, we have to decide we're doing letters or numbers. I'll go with numbers. And then there's foreground, background, or both. Now this is foreground and background as if you're going to do a two-color, obviously. So if you're not doing a two-color, you will always choose the foreground, because otherwise the background is going to be fat. It's just not going to look like the actual font itself. It's going to be an extension of the font. Slide down a little bit. Next is font size, and they won't let you go any further until you complete these. So starting at the top and working your way down, let's say an 8-inch. Let's do a 10-inch, because I think that's what we're working with on our Make It Monday. Choose the font. As you can see, the most common ones are listed at the front. Pro Block, Varsity. We'll go with the Pro Block.
A lot of different fonts.
Lots and lots of different fonts. So there's no excuse here for saying, well, I don't want to be just off the rack. You got a lot of options here. Next is how many types of material available to you. If I can get this to quit doing that. There we go. So as you can see, boy, is it lagging. There we go. Acrylic felt, fashion film, glitter flake, Gorilla Grip 2, hologram, poly twill, premium plus, reflective 2. You can read all those until I hit thermofilm. That's the most common. That's what I'm going with. And then your color. Let's go with metallic silver, one of our newer colors in thermofilm. Now you have options. You can buy the pack. Those are 10 packs. As you can see, it's $5.20 for a 10 pack. So what's that make each number?
54 cents.
You're so close.
Ah, 52.
You're so close.
52.
So close. I bet you they didn't come in that fast. Or you can go buy the kit, the 170-piece kit.
For $79.85. And how much is that?
Less than 100.
Less than 50 cents. Right. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes. So it is definitely less than 50 cents. But what you get there are 60 number ones, 20 zeros, and then
20 number twos as well.
20 number twos, sorry, and 10 of all the remaining ones. Basically, that's giving you like a team 1 through 20, and that's what a lot of folks do when they're not custom. Don't let the kids pick out the numbers. Again, you're doing these lower cost leagues. You say, here's what you're getting, and it helps, again, controls your inventory, keeps your cost down, keeps their cost down as well. And then you just put in your quantities from there. So it's real simple to order. A lot of different options, tons of different materials, tons of different fonts, all available to you.
One of the, I don't know if it's necessarily a newer material, but one of the higher end looks, if you're not just looking for standard names and numbers, you can get higher end finishes. The one that we have here is our Sim Stitch finish. So this is a polyester twill material that has been laser etched to give it the look of applique embroidery. That is available in pre-cuts as well. One of the interesting facts that was pointed out kind of on our prep sheet from our prep team, is it a prep team? I don't know what they are, producers, directors, helpers.
those people.
Jenna put together some information for us. And basically what she said, or what she found, is that for every player on the field, there's at least, or on average, there are 4 people in the stands rooting for them. So what are some ways that we can use PreCuts to reach those people as well, rather than just on the field?
Right. This is your support group. This is the family members, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. They're coming to support this player. And they're going to mock up that particular player's jersey and wear them in the stands to represent who we are. But it doesn't always have to be an exact replication. So if it's a girly type of thing, you know, moms and grandmas and aunts and girlfriends and sisters, they're going to want probably the glitter because they like to sparkle. As we pointed out earlier, there is no season for glitter. There's no marked season.
Glitter knows no season.
Knows no season. So yeah, really popular. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. So utilizing the extra finishes, the different types, maybe even going a step above with this, give you a higher end look like the Sim Stitch. It's just a great way to to market, not just as a decorator. You would definitely want to do the on-field stuff, but there's actually a lot more in the fan wear, and that makes more sense to me.
Okay. Do we have, we will open it up here. We're getting close to the end of our allotted time for this particular episode, but if there are any questions coming in on PreCuts, we would be happy to answer them. We'll give you a few seconds while we wait for that to happen.
Is it time?
It's time.
Make it Monday?
Make it Monday.
Make it Monday. Make it Monday. We're going to do a football jersey. We're going to utilize the exact same things that we were actually ordering online that we showed there. So taking advantage of our Hotronix Air Fusion, my particular favorite. Threading all the way up to the shoulders. Football jerseys are just stupid easy to keep straight because you've got this lovely seam across here, and this separates where the name and the number goes. So if this is parallel to this, then you can just rest assured that your jersey is straight unless it's sewn really, really crooked. 10-inch thermofilm metallic silver, just like we ordered. This is number 28. On a number this size, we typically go about 1 inch apart. And you can eyeball that. And about 1 inch down from this seam. So once we get these laid out where they make sense. Now, if I had a lot of these to do, I was doing like the entire, multiple teams over and over, and I know a bunch of double digits going to be played in there, I would probably utilize our laser alignment system to give me 2 lines down the center about 1 inch apart, as well as another line across here to give me that even, to keep these even about 1 inch down from this one. I have played it smart and pre-cut my own name, as opposed to laying out like Zach was doing there, although that's not a bad option, especially if you're doing, I like using the individual letters if I'm kind of an on-demand shop where people walk in, they want something personalized right now, I don't have to take the time to cut, I can just, or on-site type of scenario. You're at an event, and you can just have all the letters available to you there. All right, name's on. For those of you who said, why did you not preheat? I already did that earlier, so don't yell at me. And we're not going to wash this one. Don't have to do anything to the numbers because I had its own cover sheet, and I just peel this off. And what we have is a professionally decorated jersey. It's a thing of beauty. And that's Make It Monday.
So we did have one question come in while you were making your jersey over there, and that is, do the letters and numbers come pre-spaced? So Taylor, if you can pull up the computer real quick. The short answer is yes. And on the left-hand side here where Bob was showing the pre-cuts, if you want your stuff pre-spaced, you can order that right here. Same section, letters, numbers, designs, player perfect, team perfect, pre-spaced text, pre-space numbers, take a look at those pages. There's a brief description at the top of each page as to which version is best for what you're doing. So if you would like them pre-spaced, you can visit the same section of the website and find out there what you need. All right, so one final announcement before we wrap up this pre-cut show. Big announcement. Do we have a slide for this announcement, or are we just making it? It's so big. Well, you're doing a class next Thursday.
Yeah.
Bob is giving a class next Thursday. Go ahead, tell us about it.
It's all about SimStitch. We kind of whet your appetite a little bit here, but we'll be talking about everything you need to know about SimStitch and how it can increase your profits and how it can take you to the next level without a whole lot of work.
Okay, so join Bob next Thursday at noon Eastern Time. If you want to learn more about SimStitch, I believe all of our recordings are archived here on Facebook, and you can catch up on them as well. But thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Zach.
I'm Bob.
And this has been an awesome Stahls TV Morning Show.